So this is another Ravensburger 1,000 piece. I'm doing it in not the greatest lighting, as you can see. But this is the Golden Gate Bridge. And so it is part of like a scenic places collection. Really pretty image of the Golden Gate Bridge. I actually thought this one was going to be way more difficult than it actually was. A couple reasons for that. One, there's a lot of sky and a lot of water, and then there are a lot of plants. So really kind of like things you don't want to have to do large chunks of in a puzzle. But they actually turned out to be not as bad as I expected. The other thing was that the Golden Gate Bridge itself, I thought it was going to be really annoying because it's so curved to actually be able to build it, and I discovered that it wasn't as bad as I thought. And so I did decide to do the border first on this one. When I'm casually puzzling, I usually end up doing the border first. I do find it easier to have the border done and kind of framed out the puzzle, and it like looks like you're making more progress, at least to me, than if you've just got a bunch of random pieces and random chunks together. Obviously, speed puzzling, you got to get over that, and you got to sort of do whatever's fastest first. So I'm about half an hour, 35 minutes in, and you can see already I've been able to get a pretty big chunk of that Golden Gate Bridge built. I was expecting it to be more difficult, but one of the great things is that it's kind of at sunset, so there's even a little bit of a gradient in the sky that I was able to use to help build the bridge. So to figure out where along those sort of bridge suspension lines different pieces went was actually much easier because you had that gradient. Strategically, doing the water next and sort of filling in some of the water pieces, interesting move, probably not the best move, but I did just start to see a lot of them as I was going through the pieces pulling for the Golden Gate Bridge, and because of that I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do these. So went ahead and did them. I then framed out the top border, put that together, and sort of said, okay, well, this is what I'm going to be working with for sky. So yes, so I'm now doing a little bit of sky. Again, is this the smartest move? Maybe not. But one of the things I was thinking as I was doing this is I'm working with some not great overhead lighting. It's a little dark in my puzzling room. I fixed that. I bought new LED light bulbs that are almost blinding, and I may regret and have to go back to the old bad light bulbs. But I was thinking, okay, well, this is the top of the puzzle, so if I finish it, I can push it up the table and not have to worry about space management as much. And also, this is going to be a little bit easier to do with poor lighting than trying to get through all of these dark colored pieces. So I'm now starting to close up some of these clouds. I am shape sorting these white pieces that make up the cloud. I think maybe had it been bright in the room, I would have waited to shape sort, but it was just not, I was not seeing them without some of that shape sorting. You can see I'm kind of grabbing them, putting them next to the puzzle, trying them, and then putting them onto the side and into shape sorted piles. This is not a terrible place to be at 2 hours for this puzzle, I don't think, especially given, I'm so casually puzzling at night. I'm now starting to fill in some of the water just as I see different chunks going, okay, I think this is going to go here, this is going to go here. I have returned to this puzzle now, and it is bright out. So I am going to switch my strategy somewhat. So I decided to do the border first here, just so I knew how much I was working with. I wanted to say, okay, well, if I need to shape sort, how much space is it going to take up on the table? And, how many lines am I working with? Like mentally, it's much easier for me once I have that sort of figured out. And so then I started to grab these like flowery pieces. There was actually more pattern in the flowers than I expected, and it made it easier to build those. I thought those were going to be just this like terrible shape sorty mess. They were a little bit of a shape sorting mess. You can see I'm already starting to shape sort on the side. but they were not quite as bad as I expected. Like, I think that those flowers could have easily been something that was just a hard no, just awful. They were bad, but they were not awful. So you can see I've been able to see some chunks, like that chunk that's sort of sitting on top of the puzzle right now. I've found another chunk of flowers that I've been able to connect into the frame, and is helping just reduce the space that I have left to build in the puzzle, which is going to make it much faster once I sort of give in and shape sort. So yeah, now just sort of seeing, hey, where do pieces go? Can I shape sort them? Can I just sort of get pieces into the frame so that there are fewer total pieces on the table? Really pretty image though. I really liked this puzzle. This is definitely one, I definitely kept this. This is going in the permanent collection. And yeah, now the challenge is just filling in the remainder. Again, good time to shape sort. You can see I've pulled pieces, and I am sort of, I like to try pieces and then shape sort rather than shape sorting and then trying. So yeah, just the final filling in now.